This is my Guardian, made it into the Firebrand, and I want to show what is different about the Firebrand and why I think it's a lot better, at least for my taste. I like support and healing, which the Firebrand does a lot better than the Guardian. It's the only thing I never really liked about the Guardian was really long cooldowns on healing abilities. So, first thing is that the class mechanic for Guardian was the virtues over here above the weapon abilities. They're now called tomes or books. They're much better. You also get mantras, which I'll go over. These are mantras right here. This my heal is now a mantra. You don't have to use it, but I do. I'm still using the Guardian Signet of Courage that heals everybody around you when you use it. And I'm still using two shouts because they give boons, healing among them. And I'll go into the build and what I didn't change and what I did change. So I didn't change these two here. These are the old Guardian trait lines, and here's Firebrand at the bottom. So the two I kept Zeal because it helps the Greatsword, and this is more healing too. I absolutely have to have this. Greatsword abilities do increased damage, they heal you, and they recharge faster. They have shorter cooldowns. I can't live without that kind of thing. I keep Valor. This is a good support line. And there's a couple things that really work. Here's the main thing. I'm going to go right to this because this was always what I enjoyed. Altruistic healing. Heal yourself when you grant a boon to an ally. So, when I was back on Guardian, these two shouts, they give boons. When I give boons, I get healed. I always want to be doing that. This is my thing. Even this, blocking an attack grants Aegis to nearby allies, and Aegis blocks the attack. So let's say now this is a function. This boon here, buff Aegis, which blocks the next incoming attack, is the result of now the Tome of Courage, or the Guardian, its virtue of courage. So when that happens, I grant Aegis, to allies. What happens when I give them a boon? I get healed because of this. So every time I give it a boon, I get healed. I like all that kind of stuff. Now, also, virtue of courage, this was a nice trait in here too. It does have a time to trigger the passive. Once you block an attack with Aegis, it'll be 40 seconds before it comes back up again. Courageous Return, this is when you revive an ally or rally, that's refreshed no matter what the cooldown is. You get that anyway when you take the straight line. Anyway, this is really all my damage here, this is my support here, and this ends up being my support. I just go all along the bottom. And I'll tell you why I go all along the bottom here. All these traits, these vastly improve tomes, these books, which replace our virtues. And these are really strong as they are. They are much better when traded. And just to take a look here, you'll see the description. Whenever you mouse over something, you can see the description. You'll notice most of the letters are in white, but some are in blue. Whenever you see letters, whenever you see a description that's in blue, it's the result of traits that you have taken, that have given an extra benefit, an extra bonus to an ability or a utility or whatever. And that blue text you see there is the result of these. And that happens in other places that are very important.
Believe me, you know of the
So let me show you what these do. Now, normally, what happens on a Guardian, you can activate these virtues, which are no longer virtues on my Guardian, they're tomes, but you would activate a virtue, and let's say you did Virtue of Resolve, which is the virtue that gives you passive healing. Tome of Resolve does the same thing. However, if you were to activate Virtue of Resolve, you lose. You get a heal for doing it. It will heal you some, but then you lose the passive heal over time that you always have until Virtue of Resolve comes off cooldown.
One,
Same
two,
thing with
three.
all
Send
these
Sammy
things.
over to me.
And
I'm bored with this.
damn NPCs, fucking
You
shut up.
just hate losing.
Let me get the hell out of here. Why? So it's the same for all these other virtues, which are now tomes. Whenever you would use them, when they were virtues on the Guardian, you would lose their passive effect until the virtue came off cooldown. That trait that I took, the last trait that I took, over here, tome skills gain reduced recharge. You'll see what that is in a minute. And they retain the passives when they're on cooldown. So if I use Tome of Resolve, which used to be Virtue of Resolve, I won't lose the passive heal. The passive heal will continue. This here, your virtues, the tomes, gain extra pages. You'll see what the pages are in a moment. And tome skills gain bonuses from scribing in the margins by ancient bards, which basically means all the abilities, when I activate these, get extra bonuses. Okay? That's why you see that blue text there, and you'll see more when I activate. So I go all over here because these buff all of the virtues and the tomes. And that's what this is about right now. When we close this, let me show you what this is. Oh, someone's wondering what the hell I'm doing here. If I activate Tome of Resolve, you'll see my weapon skills are gone. I have all support skills now. These are not limited by time. This has a cooldown. Virtue of Resolve.
Mine was last night. Right. I think we've got enough wood.
Itself has a cooldown. So if I go out of this, if I exit it, I gotta wait for that cooldown until I can use these abilities again. So, once again, you're going to see blue text on each of these abilities. Part 1 here, my number 1 skill, is healing. Alright? It gives extra healing, it gives regen, the regen boon. Not just flat healing, it gives the boon regeneration. When I give a boon to someone, I get healed too. So this could heal me, and it heals me because of that trait that I take as a guardian.
Refreshing.
Altruistic healing. Anytime I give a boon, I get healed. This one right here, this removes conditions, right? Poison, bleeding, torment, all those things. Cripple. And for every for every condition it removes, it heals. But now it also has regeneration. It gives regeneration. And I get even more healing because of the trait altruistic healing. Alright? Here again, this one, the number 3 skill, gives swiftness and it gives vigor, which is the vigor, it gives you endurance back so you can dodge again. But it also gives regeneration because I took the trait that gives that. This one here, this is a little bit of a heal and swiftness. But it also has the regeneration boon. This one converts conditions into boons. So if you get poison, it's probably regeneration. If you get weakness or vulnerability, it's probably protection. And now all those boons will heal me. But in addition, I also give regeneration. So I'm healing myself, I'm healing others, and because I'm giving all these boons, I'm healing myself again. So this is really strong. And how do they work? So you can see I have my 3 abilities here. I have my tomes, replacing the virtues basically. And to their right, you will see that there are 8 little diamond shapes, rotated circles. Each one represents a page in the book. If I use an ability,
Refreshing.
one goes away. Every time I use an ability, a page goes away. Now I've got extra pages because of the traits I selected in the Firebrand line. Everything I did, I took in that specialization, and that trait line benefits these tomes. There goes another one. Normally you don't have that many. So there is no time limit on it. I could wait and not use these until the right moment if I want.
Refreshing.
And I can actually, now it goes on a cooldown.
I don't want to.
So with Justice, this is a damage one. This is the only damage one. This gives extra burning. For everything that this does, it gives extra burning. So you can see what some of those abilities look like. See when they expire, it goes right back to my weapon abilities. And that's now that's on cooldown. But Tome resolves back up. And this one here, Tome of Courage, this is all defensive. But I give protection to everybody. Every time I use this, I give protection boon. But I also give other boons. We look at this number 5, for instance, it gives stability, so you can't be knocked down or stunned, retaliation, so any damage people take, it's reflected back to the attacker. It gives Aegis, which simply blocks. And because I traded this, since I took all of the traits that benefit the tomes, it also gives the protection boon. So all those boons go out, and it heals me. It's the same thing for this. Now, this gives resistance. Resistance means that if you have bleeding on you, any condition, poison, it gives you resistance to them. They don't affect the player. So that's a boon, and that heals me. But it also gives, once again, protection because it's traded, heals me again. Here, this one is a reflection dome. This will reflect arrows, bullets, any projectile. And that's what it looks like. And it gives the protection boon, so I can heal. This is a taunt. I'm not sure if I really want to use this and have enemies attack me, but it gives protection if I use it. This gives stability, number 1, stability and swiftness, so you get a 33% movement speed increase when I do this for a few seconds, but it also gives protection.
Armored up.
You can see all those boons that go out, and I get healed for them. So they're really strong. I think they're really cool. And now the mantras. Typically, the Mesmer is the only class that has mantras, but now they gave them to the Firebrand. And I think they're better than the Mesmer mantras. What mantras are, you charge them up. And it actually, so you get some benefit from charging them up, and then they get charges from doing that. This is my heals also. This one heals and removes conditions, this mantra, this utility, and this one heals and gives allies, it gives them Aegis. So, all these things. This gives regen, and this gives Aegis to others. This gives regen to others and to me. So, again, they're boons I'm giving out. I give out boons, I get healed. And this also gives me healing. And so does this, of course. And I'll show you what they're like. I'm going to have to activate it. If you see up in the right-hand corner, it's probably hard to see on a video, but there's a number 3 in the upper right-hand corner of each of these icons, these mantras. I'm going to use one. Now, I'm regenerating health, and other people around me would have that, so I get healed again because of that. Now, look at that white line that's going around that icon. Now it's back to 3. I'm going to do it again, and this time focus on this icon. You'll see that there's a white line. This count will go to 2. From 3, it will go to 2.
Refreshing.
That's 2, and a white line is slowly going around the outside edge of that icon. When it gets back to its starting point, that number in the upper right-hand corner is 3. I have 3 complete charges again. So that's a 12-second interval there. Now, if I use all of them, the final charge, the third charge, gives a greatly magnified, a really much stronger effect. So you have the ability to go through all of them. And then the mantra itself goes on cooldown, but has given me much greater durations for the boons and buffs. And then it goes on full cooldown. You can make the other choice, where just to use 1 charge and let that recharge,
1, 2, 3.
or just go through all of them. The same thing with the heal. And now that white line is going around the outside border of the healing icon, and when it reaches its origin point, I will now have 3 charges to use again. And that's basically how this works. I think this is much. Now I should recharge this again if I want, or I can use it in combat. I can actually use that first ability in combat if I want. But I think this is really good. It works really well with the build that I already had, just by taking out 1 trait line and using the Firebrand trait line. It worked really well with what I already had. So I just wanted to show what the differences were and how they work, and why I think it's better. And I think it's really worth getting Firebrand. Much more than Dragon Hunter. Dragon Hunter is kind of cool, but this, to me, really is fitting for the Guardian.